Hello, and welcome to my podcast, Moving and Listening. In this podcast, you will find two things. Number one, guided movement sessions, and number two, a talking format. The movement sessions will have always two parts. At the beginning, just a few minutes, something for you to arrive, a grounding. And then something not longer than 10 minutes I call floating, where I will guide you through that you can get into motion and, if you want, even into bigger movements in space. The talking format will be just me talking, or together with someone I will invite, about something I'm interested in or what is on my mind and could be interesting for you as well. There will be episodes in German and in English. You will find the indication in each episode's title. My name is Mathis Kleinschüttger. I'm a dancer and choreographer, coach and trainer, and also the developer of embodied communication practice. Enjoy! Before you start, for the first part of grounding, you will only need a spot where you can stand or sit. And if you want to continue with the floating part, you should make some space around you for bigger movements. So clear the floor from chairs, objects, or other possible traps. And better, no low-hanging lamps above you. Great, let's start. Today's grounding is a simple breathing exercise. And for this, you can choose your position. If you want to sit or to lie or to stand, it's your choice. And while you're searching for a good comfortable position, I'll explain what we'll do. We do the breathing exercise for 3 minutes long as a time, and you will breathe out over 6 counts and breathe in over 4 counts. So you need to keep counting out and in counts, and counts means it's your own timing. You can choose what a pace you use. Like it can be faster or slower as you want. The only thing I would ask you to do is to keep the same rhythm over the 3 minutes. So the counting of 6 and 4 should be in the same rhythm all the time through. Why 6 and 4? Usually in our everyday lives, we have too much carbon dioxide in our body, and that has to do that we breathe in more and we breathe out less. And so the carbon dioxide is not fully, through the breathing out, is not fully getting out of our bodies, and that's not really healthy. So to practice that, this is a good exercise. And the other reason why 6 and 4 is because we need to keep counting. Because 6 and 4 are different, we need to concentrate to do 6 on the breath out and 4 on the breath in. And that activates the frontal cortex of our brain whilst we're doing this physical exercise. And that has the effect to also calm our nervous system. So these are the reasons why we do this exercise in that way. So if you found your position, and I would like to ask you to start with the breathing out, and then you will find your natural rhythm, and you just keep the same rhythm through the 6 minutes. And I will just give you the starting signal for the breathing out. And then after 3 minutes, I will let you know when the 3 minutes are done. Okay, ready? We'll start with the breathing out over 6 counts and go. And here we are. That was 3 minutes. I hope you're not feeling dizzy or anything. Let your breath just move on how it wants to. And maybe you can feel already an effect in the body, feel a bit calmer. Maybe you will only feel it later. Anyways, I hope you're feeling well now. Yes, okay. So for the ones who know that podcast and the moving episodes, we do a little warm-up before we start. So just find a position, ideally standing if you can. And just when you look down to your feet, your toes should look to the front, like quite straight forward. And if you look down between your 2 feet, there is a space in between, and this space in between should be as if a third foot could exactly fit in between your 2 feet, also looking with the toes forward. And then don't lock your kneecaps and just let your knees stay a bit loose, so there's a bit more movement possible in your hips and relaxation downwards, so the spine doesn't need to hold all the tension. Okay, and then just roll your shoulders from the front to the back and keep it rather slow, that it's really more like a muscle action, so you really need to consciously do it, and try to do the circle of the shoulders, the rolling, as big as possible and round. So if you want, you can connect it with your breath. When you roll your shoulders up from the front, then breathe in, and if you roll them down over the back, breathe out. Great. And then change direction, roll over the back, up, and then when they're at your ears, to the front, down, breathe out, rolling up, breathing in, rolling down, breathing out. Great. Wonderful. Okay. Then just turn your head a little bit to the left, look to the left wall, and keep the rest of the upper body still. Let it rest where it is, and move it to the right, your head, very carefully, slowly, a little bit right and left. Very good. And take your head down, chin to your chest, and then not all the way up, but look like until you can see the ceiling, and back down, chin to your chest. One more time up to the ceiling. Okay, great. And then widen your position of your feet so they're really more far from each other, and just do a little hip circle in one direction. And also here it can be slow, it doesn't have to be quick. The slower you do it, the more activation of the muscles you create, and that creates more warming up and brings all the fluids in motion and heats up the reactivity of the muscles. Change direction. Yeah, move your pelvis of the horizontal plane. Other direction. Great. Then bring your feet and knees completely close together. So feet are touching and knees are touching. Then bend your knees, put your hand on your kneecaps so they rest on the kneecaps, and then think of the knees doing a circle on the horizontal plane. The hands just go with them, and also relax your ankles so your feet can move from right to left, left to right. They maybe lift off the floor a little bit at the outside of the feet, right and left. That's fine. Let the ankles really loose. Also here, change direction. Amazing. Yes. Great. Come back up to standing. And if you need more, if you have the feeling you need to do some push-ups or some running on the spot, or to get really more heat into your body, just press pause, do what you need to do, and then come back. Okay. And then let's just start just slowly walking, very simply walking through the space you're in. Have a look around. How much space do you actually have? If you're in a room, what kind of furniture is there? And consciously think as if your eyes would be not in your face, but in your toes, so they can look through your feet to the front. So place your feet consciously so that the eyes in your feet at the front of your toes can look in the direction you're walking towards. So very consciously place your feet so that they can see the furniture, the walls, the corners. And imagine also when we do a step, the toes lift off so they see more of a top part of the room, and then only when you place the whole foot on the ground, the eyes which are looking to the front through the toes are seeing the front part in front of the toes. Great. And think of the eyes looking out towards your heels, like behind your body, and walk also backwards. So just explore a tiny bit the room and think of your eyes looking out through your heels into the back of the room behind you. So consciously place your feet so they can see everything behind you. Great. And then just relax and stand a moment, or just walk forward again and forget about the ideas of the eyes in the feet. And just shift your weight from one foot to the other one fully, like that you can lift the other foot off the floor. So you shift your weight, place your whole weight over one foot, bend your knee, and the other leg and foot can lift off the floor. So you do proper weight shifts, 100%. And maybe you feel already you will need your hands a little bit to help. So they may be lifting off a bit to keep your balance. And try to do different speeds of the weight shifts. Surprise yourself. It can be very slow, very consciously, or sometimes a quicker one. So your body needs to react, to adapt to the weight shift. And then consciously take your arms up so they're kind of floating in the air and help you to keep the balance. And if you don't need them, just pretend you would need them. Amazing. Yeah. And then activate these floating arms even a bit more, as if you would be in water. For example, you would have gone into the sea, and you know this moment when the water reaches kind of your chest or a little bit lower waist level, and you could put your hands, you could place your hands onto the water, the surface of the water. And on that level, you want to touch the water. Maybe a lake is a better image because the sea's moving. But for this image, it helps that the water would be quiet. So you could place your hand on top of the surface of the water, and you can touch with your hands the water everywhere, and keep moving with your feet. You still do weight shifts, which by now means just kind of walking in different directions, change directions, front, back, side, and your hands as kind of swaying around your body. And yeah, very good. Amazing. Yeah, cool. And then emphasize this a bit, like think of these two things. Still the weight shifts between your feet, which brings you into motion through the room. all kinds of direction. Can be 1 step front, 1 step back, 1 step side, 2 steps side. You can constantly, with each step, you can change the direction. Walking front, walking backwards. And in the same time, you keep these arms swaying around. And then let this water idea go. Keep the arms swaying, floating around you. And then lift the arms in all directions. So they sway also above your head, around, behind your back, everywhere. So they float as if, you know the octopus with these, is it called tentacles or something? I don't know the word for these arms of an octopus. So imagine your arms would be these octopus arms, and they just want to explore all the air around you, everywhere where it can go and reach. It might bring your whole body also lower because your arm wants to reach and explore more down towards the floor. And then let these arms just keep moving with the whole body. And then focus on your pelvis. Think of your pelvis as its own little creature. And this little creature, your pelvis, wants to try to move in all kinds of directions. And the pelvis is in 2 halves, right? We have a right part and a left part, so it's quite flexible. We feel it in our hip movements. It can move. And this pelvis has its own head, and it does movements you try not to control, you just let it happen. So maybe your pelvis is a bit naughty today, or maybe also slower and more conscious, and the rest of the body tries to just follow the movement of the pelvis. So the pelvis does what it wants, and the rest of the body just adapts and follows. So we don't even have to create anything. We just think of the pelvis of a kind of a initiating movement creator, like a motor or like creature, a moving creature, and it just does what it wants in all directions. Also going lower, maybe bringing your whole body to the floor, or going up, wanting to see behind you, under you, and also play sometimes with this idea that the pelvis has a right and a left part. So these 2 parts also sometimes are moving simultaneously together and sometimes different, which means maybe the hip, one hip is turning out, the other one is staying, or they turn towards each other. Anyways, this pelvis creature is independent and does its independent moves, and all the rest of the body just has to follow. And let yourself be surprised. Just let it happen. And maybe there are dynamic changes. Maybe it gets much quicker or slower, or very surprising direction changes. Great. And then we change with our focus from the pelvis to our head. So our head becomes, in our imagination, its own creature with its own will. And the head just wants to move in all kind of directions, lower, higher, to the front, to the back, to the sides. And the rest of the body just follows. And let your arms and legs be flexible and free to just follow this head wherever it wants to go. Yes, great. Remember, also the head might be having some cheeky moments, changing direction a bit quicker, or in a direction you didn't expect, or it's very floaty, circular, however, whatever it does. Don't forget it can bring you to the ground and up again, and so on. Yes, nice, lovely, amazing, Great. That's it. Very nice. Very good. Yeah. And then we focus on the head and the pelvis, both creatures, as having a dialogue. So they're both kind of talking to each other. Your head with its own will, your pelvis with its own will, but this time they're kind of referring to each other. So they kind of speak with each other, meaning they might want to come closer or getting more distance between them, or disconnected. One is moving in that direction, the other one is in the other direction. And the rest of the body, the whole rest, your spine, your arms, your legs, everything is just adapting and following this dialogue of your pelvis with your head. Yes, great. Amazing. And also this can eventually bring you down to the ground or moving you to one side or up and down, slower, quicker, and let them have their conversation. Let them surprise you. Yes, amazing. Great. And for one moment, try to speed up a little bit. So it's really chatty between the two of them, and the rest of the body just has to follow. Yeah, speed up a bit. Great. Yes, amazing. That's it. Yeah. And then slowly slow down. So you were in a very chatty, quick mode, and then slowly become slower. Not from 100 to 0, just slowly, gradually getting slower. And then getting even slower. So you're reaching slow motion. It's still this conversation between the two of them. And it gets slower and slower. Find a spot in the room where you kind of rest on that spot. It gets slower and slower, and the last little movements of your arms, feet, pelvis and head are micro movements right now, and they get even smaller and smaller until they fade out. And most probably you're in a standing position somewhere, maybe you're sitting, and just close your eyes for a second. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Keep this pattern of breath a few times. And just perceive and shortly remember the echo of all of these movements, of the fluidity and flexibility in your pelvis and in your neck for all the head movements, and all the reactions of your arms and legs in shapes and forms and movement patterns. You might have not even known before that your body can do them, and how they moved in conversation and with each other. And take the last breath in through your nose and breathe out, and then slowly open your eyes. And here we are, back in the room. Have a look around and have a wonderful day.